What is going on, you beautiful people? In this video, you've read the title correctly and you've seen the thumbnail correctly, and I'm going to be bringing to you the best burn build. If you do think there is a better burn build out there, let me know in the comments down below and let me know why you think it's better. But this build with the KVD boom boom is absolutely insane, and moving over to hard servers, this is going to be the build that we're all probably going to want to use, especially to take out them bosses. So if we were to just quickly wonder what food buffs I've got and what drink buff I've got on, if I go into inventory, we can see here I'm using one assorted canned fruit, which gives me extra weak spot damage, and then I've also got one whimsical drink on, which used to gain 25% status damage. Now let's show you my damage against the dummy, and then we'll go and show you the damage on an actual boss. So I'm here, I'm ready, I'm going to fire the crossbow, I'm going to let out my dino to start off with. So let's quickly release the dino, let's shoot him in the head, and then let's start absolutely pumping. We'll see mega amounts of damage. There was an 81k damage there, another 89k damage there. You're going to see these huge numbers, 88k damage there. That is proccing from the pyro dino. This is only level 3 pyro dino. So remember, if you get one that is stronger than this, then it will be a lot flipping better. But you're going to see now the damage numbers are absolutely absurd. 73k, 7ks are popping off there. This is just 2 magazines. In 2 magazines, I'm already at 1.6 million damage once I get my next one. I haven't even put on my Fortress Warfare. I could have put on my Fortress Warfare where I drop my axe, but I didn't bother doing that, and I could have got even a little bit more damage. But just with the 2 magazines alone, I was already sitting at about the 1.8 million mark, and then just after the third LMG, where I haven't got the pyro dino, I'm getting just about 2.15 million damage, and we're averaging about 55,000 to 60,000 DPS. So absolutely huge numbers. Obviously, I just showed you the food and everything that I've got. Let's go over and kill the Trent. Let's go in, make sure that's on pro mode, and hit enter. And then now you're going to see what this does actually against boss. So you can see its true worth and damage is pretty insane. And you can't really complain, especially for being a fire build, because most of you know fire builds are not the greatest of builds in this game. But I think I have managed to min-max the burn build. Yet again, if there's anything that you think is not correct or could be improved, please let me know in the comments down below. I have put stats down everywhere, literally went through every little thing and tried everything apart from the damage gloves, the ones that give 15% extra damage. But just from using the hardy and the burn gloves or the barbecue gloves, this is what I've managed to come out with. Literally min-maxing, putting one attachment on at a time. Let me go around and quickly take out these tentacles, whatever you want to call them. Let me get myself up and then I'll show you it, because unfortunately we've had a real rough start. Right, we're up. Let's call our pyro dino out and let's just start pumping at Trent's flipping head, and let's show you this damage before I get deleted again. We don't want to get deleted. We want to just show you how good the build is. Look at the health just absolutely disappearing. That is 1 magazine. If you'd had all your stacks up, she'd already be dead. But unfortunately, in my case, she is not dead because I couldn't get my stacks up. I just died. There we go. Next hit that you're going to see, she is now dead. Bam. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that build video. What an absolute terrible showing of it. But you kind of get an understanding of how good it is. And especially for hard modes, especially when you're going to need to be able to use the likes of burn for the bosses. This is probably going to be your best burn build. Let me go back to the base and actually show you what it looks like now. Right, let's get out of here. Right, so we can't go back to our base for 1 minute 20. So like I said before, the food and drink that we're using one assorted canned fruit, so it increases weak spot damage by 25%. And then we're using one whimsical drink, which gives you 25% extra status damage bonus. Then after that, we are using the pyro dino. I've got mine to level 3, so it's 3-2 is what its actual stats are. Obviously, the higher the pyro damage, the more pyro damage you'll do. And when he's breathing fire, as long as you're firing at the same time, then you get these mega explosions. As you were seeing, I was getting about 80 to 90,000 damage. And that's when the boss or the health of the Trent was just completely shredding once I obviously started shooting at it and not getting hit by its lightning. Then moving over to the build, I'm using the KVD boom boom. So the boom boom, I've got it obviously level, I've got it up to level 10, but it's only tier 5. You can see it's got a 15 or 18% chance to trigger burn on hit, and killing an enemy affected by burn causes an explosion that deals blaze damage of 300% PSI intensity. So yet again, when there's big crowds of loads of mobs moving forwards into the dungeons in the harder tiers, well, at least this one will clear ads pretty quick, because as long as they're piled up together, they're going to be getting hit by damage. And when you see that damage, it's about 15,000 that it just spreads around to all the others, which is really good. And then the explosion inflicts 1 stack of burn on targets hit as well. So if they're not dead, they're going to be burning, so they're going to be taking ticks, and then you can literally just shoot them and get even more burn. When blaze damage is happening, you get 30% extra damage as well with the KVD boom boom. We've then got the recurve crossbow. I didn't even use it then against that boss. But you can see hitting a weak spot will inflict the bullseye on target, causing all weapons to have crit rate, 15% extra versus the targets. But then that's not the main reason I'm using it. It's just to get that guaranteed hit, and then you can use the vulnerability amplifier, which gives you extra 8% vulnerability on the enemies. Then I have got the long axe. I didn't use it in that fight either, but the long axe, the reason we use this is simply for the ability Fortress Warfare. Heavy attacks initiate Fortress Warfare up to once every 10 seconds. For every hit target, heavy hits grant weapon crit rate 8% and melee swing speed by 5% for 10 seconds, and effects can stack up to 3 times. So just to give you, these two give you both more crit rate. Not really too bothered about the long axe. I'm just wearing it because obviously I like the skin that I've got on it. Pretty good, especially for a fired build. Then now moving down to the sets, I've got 4-piece sheltered, 1-piece Bastille, and then I got the barbecue gloves. So if we look at the sheltered, what it does is, as you can see down here, 1 piece gives you status damage reduction, 2 pieces gives you elemental damage, blaze, frost, shock, blast plus 8%, and then 3rd piece, each weapon hit grants 1 stack of deviant energy. Every stack of deviant energy grants 1% of elemental damage, a blaze, frost, shock, or blast. Effects can stack up to 20 times. Reload and removes half of the total stacks. Now that means we can get an additional 20% plus the 8%, so 28% there. And then the 4th piece, increase max deviant energy stacks by 10, and every headshot gives you 2 of them stacks. So rather than going up 1 to 30 using 30 bullets, you can get there in 15 bullets, providing you hit the head. So it's really, really good. Overall, obviously, we're getting the 38% just from the body, which is flipping, or from these 4 pieces, sorry, which is flipping awesome. And then what I've got in terms of mod on it, I need to upgrade this mod, but it's only been upgraded once, and it got the elemental blaze, frost, shock blast up to 8%. But it's mainly for the deviation expert talent. The range, yes, it's minus 28%, but that does not matter. The reason I say that does not matter, because if we go, to my weapon, and on the weapon I go over to the burn and I hit X. Well, as we can see here, deal 10% PSI intensity and status damage for every 0.5 seconds up to 6 seconds up to 5 stacks. The additional damage is blaze element and cannot crit and cannot strike weak spots, but will not decay with distance. So that's why it really doesn't matter about the distance being reduced, because a burn does not be, it cannot be reduced with distance. It still does the same amount of damage regardless of the distance. So this is flipping damn awesome, especially when we're going to have to do a solo Leah run moving forwards into the future in a hard mode. Well, this might be really good because you can sit at the top and shoot things down from up there, which can help you out a lot, or help the team out a lot, or stuff like that. And then you got the actual factor of these other bits and bobs just here. That is what burn does. So I've shown you the weapon. Now the weapon mod I've got on, is flame resonance, and it's got talent, so it's got elemental extra damage. And you do ideally want to get elemental and status on everything that you get in this game. Unfortunately, or trigger chance. So you want trigger chance as well, because if you can get more trigger chance for burn, then even better, because the more it triggers, the more it procs, the more extra damage you're going to be doing. But yeah, I'm using flame resonance. I did use the other one, which is embers, and I've tested every single one, and this one still comes out on top. So I'd always go for flame resonance, and embers is their next best. So yeah, if you haven't got a good flame resonance, then use embers. Then moving off of that weapon, going down to the hat, like I said, I've got this one, which has got the deviation expert talent, yet again element, and you want status damage. And we want to get as much status damage as we can, because then you'll be able to hit 100k bombs with your pyro, maybe even up to 120k bombs once you've got obviously a pyro level 5. And then for the mask, I've got the blaze amplifier. Every stack of burn grants plus 3% PSI intensity damage. And here I've got elemental damage, as you can see on there. I might be able to upgrade it. I can't upgrade it yet. But yeah, so this is another really good one. And then the gloves, I've got the barbecue gloves. I've got the status enhancements, which gives you an extra status damage, 20%. And then I've got obviously elemental damage on there. Yet again, I'm missing out on having status damage because I could have element and status damage and getting even more stats, which I'm missing out on. Then for the boots, I have got the element damage and status damage. So this is like basically a good roll, but I would want to have my element at 8% and my status at, I think it goes up to 6%. So this is probably one of the rolls you want, and this goes taking no damage within 4 seconds, grants 20% melee weapon and status damage 30 seconds, so we can get an overall of 40% extra just by having this, providing you are not taking any damage. This is really good to have. Moving on to the chest, I've got rejuvenating talents only because I don't really know what to get. Maybe I might get the extra 12% status when I move over to the hard server, so get the blue talent, and the blue talent then will give you 12% extra plus whatever rolls it's got on it, so you can get up to an extra 15% status. That's probably what I'm going to do on the next server, but as of right now I've just been rejuvenating talent, so when HP is above 60%, kills recovers 15% lost HP, so you just basically stay in the fight a lot longer, which is pretty good. And I've got element and status damage on it, so I'm pretty darn happy with that. And then for the legs, last but not least, I'm using the status amplification talent, and then element and status damage is on there. When the magazine is empty, status damage is 10% for 12 seconds. Effects can stack up to 3 stacks. Now, you don't really go through a magazine that quick, but this could be king, providing you can not get extra magazine capacities on your weapons, and you have it at 100, but you have more element and status. Because I've got magazine capacities, I've got element, I haven't got element and status, and it's made my magazine go up to 120 rather than just being at your typical 100. When at 100 you definitely do shred through quick enough, but 120 you don't go through quick enough. As you can see, it takes a little bit of time to get through. It's not the most accurate of guns. Let me show you the accessories that I've got on it, so you guys can kind of get an understanding of what I've done to kind of stabilize it. I've actually gone down the route of trying to keep stability and accuracy almost level. So the muzzle, I've gone and put the hammer compensator on, so it's got 90% stability and accuracy. What's the difference between stability and accuracy? Well, stability is when you ADS, and accuracy is when you aim over the shoulder. So if you're looking to only aim over the shoulder, then try and get more accuracy. If you're looking to do both, then get both. And if you're looking to just aim down sight, then get stability. So that is that. My optic, I've got the zoom level, aiming speed and stability. Aiming speed's extra 10%, so it just helps out that little bit more. For the laser, I've got the accuracy, aiming stability 12%. And the magazine, that's my fault actually. I've got the 20% magazine increased on there. The large drum mag, I do not need to have that on. That was my big mistake. Oh my god, I thought I didn't have that on, because reloading is king in this, because the more we reload, the more damage we deal. As we can see, if I aim down sight, there is still a little bit of where it goes off to the side, but when I think this is a lot easier to do with the LMG, so just go and do this and pull it down, and then you can see that was definitely within time, so you can keep getting that proc coming off a lot quicker, because you can see now it's down at the bottom. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, guys. If you think there's any improvements that can be made to this burn build, please let me know in the comments down below. But like I said, I've gone through all the mods one by one, and all of the armor one by one. And then I think that's really good. Oh, I didn't show you the Bastille. The reason I use Bastille, when HP is above 70%, weapon damage is increased by 10%. If you do look at blueprints and you do look around for armors and stuff, what could actually help it? Well, I've seen, for instance, you have got the other one. Where are you? This one where you could have 2 on, which gives you when weapon HP. Sorry, you get weapon and status damage 10% of each. That's 20%. If you've got 2 pieces of savior, so you could obviously go free sheltered and 2 savior, but I still think it's better to go down that route. But savior might be better moving into the next season, just for the likes of having more health and that. In hard, it's going to be quite hard, obviously, as many of us know. And then when we look at the gloves, the barbecue burn damage frequency increases the number of stacks up to 100%. And then I did have the hardy gloves that full stacks burn will cause an explosion that deals blaze damage of 300% PSI intensity and removes all stacks of burn. Now, the last one that you did have was the drifter gauntlets, which when affected by burn, weapon damage 50% and crit rate 15%. But for me, this is not really the best way to go about it. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and now I'll end it. Like, follow, comment, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Peace.